The 1.5 patch has dropped for Marvel Rivals today, with The Thing and Human Torch arriving, which is pretty cool. And we're going to do a tier list on all of the heroes in Marvel Rivals at the moment. So, I think we'll start with the new guys. I've played a little bit of Human Torch, as you can probably see a little bit in the background. I think this guy's amazing. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if he's meta quite yet. From what I've played, he's really good at area denial, which is awesome with his flame spots. And his meteorite, where he crashes down, is pretty insane. It's got a lot of decent distance. And he does a lot of damage, but he is kind of vulnerable in the air. He has boost, kind of like Iron Man, but it's a little slower. For now, I'm going to say he is amazing. The Thing I've played as well. I really like The Thing. I think he's a great tank, and he does decent damage. I'm going to put him in amazing as well. His charged L2 attack with his right hook does crazy damage, and if you have a good healer, you'll stay alive forever. And he has a shield that he can give his teammates, which gives him crazy mobility, which is pretty cool. And yeah, I think he is an amazing hero. He's really good, and I'm glad they added him to the roster. Now we'll start with the other guys. Adam Warlock got a bit of a buff. They buffed his damage, which is pretty nice. I'm going to put him probably in decent. He's not the best healer, to be honest. He just doesn't really heal as good as everybody else. That's pretty much all I can say. I mean, he does a lot of damage, which is nice. And his ultimate, being able to revive your whole team, is pretty cool. I mean, it's definitely helpful, but if you get knocked out of it, it's just a waste of an ult, and it takes time to set up. Black Panther. I don't really like Black Panther that much. He's really good at taking out the back lines, but his combos require every single one of his abilities to be able to do properly. And it seems like he could probably benefit from a buff just to his main attack. He doesn't really do enough by himself. Everything is just with his combos. He's decent, but I just don't think he's very good. Black Widow got buffed also. I still think she's kind of bad. They increased her magazine up to 15 rounds. But it's just not enough, I don't think. I don't think they've done enough for her. And they changed her ultimate too, so it doesn't slow down enemies quite as much, but they do take 15% increased damage, if I remember right. So that's nice, but I still think she's just not in the best place right now. Hulk. Hulk is so good. He's so fun. Hulk smash, man. I mean, his team up with Doctor Strange and Iron Man is bonkers, the damage he can give to them. He's just such a good tank. His shields give a couple seconds of invulnerability to your teammates. Being able to lock an enemy in place is really good, and that can last as long as you want. Like, I mean, it's like 5 seconds base if you don't attack them, and I think he's just amazing. Captain America. I don't think Cap's very good. He did get some buffs. They made it so he can put his shield up mid-air while he's jumping, which is nice. But I still think he's just nowhere near the other tanks in the game. I think he needs just something else. He's just not really that good. Maybe he'll go in decent. I think he could fit in decent. I don't think he's as bad as Black Widow. Cloak and Dagger. She got nerfed. They got nerfed. They mostly to her ultimate. They made it so, well, one, you travel faster while you're doing it, so you're probably not going to get hit out of it quite as easily by, you know, your Iron Man ultimates or whatever, Magneto. But they made it so you can't stack them anymore, which is kind of rough. Because that was, like, one of the best things you could do with her ultimate, was just give you, like, 10 seconds of constant healing and constant damage to enemies. But they made it so you can't stack them anymore. So it's going to change how you play her, but I still think she's meta. I think she's insane. Doctor Strange, you already know. Probably the best tank in the game. His shield is just so good. Being able to shield and then switch to straight attacks and then switch back and forth. He's so good, man. And his ultimate, being able to knock the enemy team out of their bodies for 3-4 seconds, it's just so good. Groot. I'm going to say Groot is great. I don't think he's quite as good as the guys up here, but he's really good for disorienting the enemy. Like, if you can trap somebody and then they're trying to walk back to their team to get heals, and, you know, you just keep pummeling them, it's really good at tricking. I don't really understand the thorn walls. I kind of just use them as weaker iron walls, but they can be decent in a punch. If you're close enough, they'll do some damage for you, but just not enough. Hawkeye. When the game came out, I'd put him up here. When Season 1 dropped, I'd put him here. Now I'm going to put him here. They gave him some buffs. They lowered the cooldown on his sword attack, which is nice. And they did lower the damage of his explosive arrow, but let's be honest, nobody's using those. Nobody's using the explosive arrows. Yeah, I think he's in a good place. I do miss using Hawkeye. I wish he was up and amazing, but for now, he's going to stick in great. Hela, again, another hero that would have been up here at the start, and then probably would have been down here at Season 1's launch. But now she's going to go right next to the Thing and Human Torch. She got a little bit of a buff. Not enough to bring her back up to meta, but I still think she's in a good place. She's a great character, and she's just really fun to play. I do wish they'd change the way her crow movement worked. I wish it wasn't like just a straight line. I wish you could kind of control it a little more. But hey, maybe eventually. Iron Fist. I hate this guy. I hate Iron Fist. I know he's a noob stomper, but I mean, he still stomps me. Sometimes, like, if you go against a good Iron Fist, you're cooked, right? Like, but he did get changed a little bit in this update here. They made it so he's not much of a, like, hit-and-run character. He's more of a stand-and-fight type character, which is cool. I'm gonna put him probably up in amazing. If you know what you're doing with him, he's so good. But if you have a really shitty Iron Fist on your team, it's like saying, I'm gonna throw the game now, you know? But if you have a good Iron Fist, I'm gonna say he's in amazing. Iron Man. They nerfed Iron Man a little bit, but they also kind of buffed him. They nerfed him with Hulk. I should have said that earlier, but Hulk got a bit of a nerf with his team-up with Doctor Strange and Iron Man. They nerfed the damage that Iron Man can get from his team-up. But they also increased the damage from his Unibeam from 120 per second to 140, which is nice. I still think Iron Man's meta. I think he's so good at just... If you have an Iron Man that's just literally sitting at the back of the map for the entire match, just powering up, you know? He's so good. I mean, it's just constant damage, and as long as you have a good healer that can keep you healed, you know, while they're busy taking care of the rest of the team, you're fine. And you have his flying move too. When your healers are busy, you can go and get a health pack really quickly. He's a really good character, and his ultimate, if it's combined with other ultimates, can be peak. So good, but it is pretty telegraphed, and you can get knocked out of it. But I still think he's probably one of the most meta characters in the game right now. Jeff the Land Shark. I'm gonna put him in decent. If you, like, I know everybody's gonna hate me for that, but Jeff is not a very good character. He's fun. He's really fun. His ultimate is the biggest troll in the game, being able to eat everybody in the match and, you know, throwing them off the map. I don't like that. I know that's, like, people, you know, experimenting. I don't like how you can do that with Jeff. I think it's kind of cheap. But all in all, he's just not a very good character, like, all things considered. His healing isn't great. He does decent damage, but he's a support character, you know? I mean, he's a really good distraction. I've had good Jeffs on the other team distract me constantly. Just pop in a bubble, go back into swim mode, and I'm just like, die, you little shark thing, you know? And I'm chasing him around, and I'm like, holy shit, I just wasted 2 minutes chasing this little shark, you know? So, I mean, he can be good in those instances, but I just don't think he's a very meta character, you know? Loki. Loki is so good. He got a pretty big nerf to his ultimate. They made it charge a lot slower, but they gave him 2 more shots, I think, to his main weapon. I think Loki's amazing. I don't think he's meta, but I think he is amazing. If you have a good Loki who knows where to put his clones and knows how to teleport properly, you're good. I mean, if you have 2 other clones both healing a tank at the same time, that tank will never die. He's so good. And being able to lay down the health stones, they heal really fast. I mean, he's a great character. I think the reason I'm not putting him in meta is because when you have a bad Loki on your team, it's not good, guys. It's really not good. But when you have a good Loki, he could be in meta. I'm just gonna say he could be in meta. I just think right now he's probably an amazing. I don't think he's quite as good as some of the other healers we're gonna see soon. Like Luna! Luna gets S tier. She's meta. They nerfed her. They made it so her ultimate takes longer to charge, but she's still meta. She's still so good. She literally, when you hear a Luna pop her ult, you know nothing's gonna happen for the next 12 seconds of the match. I think Luna is too good. I think she needs... What they needed to do was not increase the time. I think they need to just lower the time that her ult is active for. I think if you did it for 8 seconds, she would be a great character and probably still meta. But I think she's just too good right now. I mean, she's great at healing. She's great at damage. Her ultimate is cracked. I mean, she's probably one of the best characters in the game. Definitely top 3. Magic. Magic got a bit of a nerf, but a bit of a buff, if I'm remembering right. They made it so her little demon dog does less damage in regular form, but they made it so she can get her ultimate Dark Child a little faster. I think Magic is gonna go in great. I think melee characters really have a rough time in this game, but if you're good at them, you're fine. But I think inherently having melee characters go against such powerful ranged characters is always going to be a disadvantage. But her being able to heal when she attacks is great. That's probably her best thing about her. I wish most melee characters did that, especially this little gremlin down here. We'll get there. Magneto. Magneto got a bit of a nerf, but also a bit of a buff. They made it so his shield isn't up for quite as long. It consumes more of his energy. But they increased the damage of his base attack, I believe. I think Magneto is amazing. I love Magneto. He has so much aura. And he's just a really fun character to play when you're standing your ground, popping shields and holding your shield in front of people. It's really cool. I really like Magneto. He's fun to play. I just don't think he's quite as good as the meta characters up here. Mantis. Mantis is amazing too. She didn't really have any changes in this patch, if I'm remembering right. She's just really good. She can buff your damage, she can buff your healing. Her healing is over time, which kinda can be rough if you don't have a second healer that does instant healing. But she's really good at it, and she has great damage too for a support character. Being able to buff her own damage is great. Her ultimate isn't nearly as good as Luna's or Cloak and Dagger's or Invisible Woman, but it still does the same type of thing. It just increases your health and makes you harder to kill. Pretty simple. Moon Knight. I'm going to say Moon Knight. Moon Knight's my main. I love Moon Knight. Moon Knight's kind of meta, guys. He's so good. He does so much damage, and when your enemies are all clumped up on the point, you literally just throw your Unk and just keep throwing. You know, swing your sword, fire that off, and you'll just do constant damage because all of your moons are just bouncing between them, and you'll just get constant kills. They did nerf his ultimate a bit here. They increased the damage of it, but they made it so the talons fall slower. Khonshu's talons. They also buffed his team up with Cloak and Dagger. They made it so while he's under his moonlight from her, where he's invisible, he'll slowly heal, which is really good. I feel like that should have been there since launch, but I'm glad it's there now. Namor. I hate this guy too, but he's amazing. You know what? Namor might be meta. I'm doing it. Namor's meta. He's so good. His turrets are like Torbjorn from Overwatch. I hate Torbjorn. He's my least favorite character. Because I really don't like when the game just plays for you. And I don't like his turrets, but I can't deny he's really good. He has great team-ups. He's just such a good character. His ultimate is great. It can pretty much one-shot any DPS character or support character. And, yeah, he's just amazing. He has, like, that water shield where he floats in the air that gives him, like, 3 seconds of invulnerability, which gives his healers time to heal up. He's just amazing. Penny. Penny can be annoying, but I think she's great. I don't think she's amazing. Once you take out her nest, she's cooked. It's really that simple. She's still a good character. She's great at defending, but she's just not the best anymore. I would say, like, back when the game first came out, when nobody knew what they were doing, she was probably meta. She was, like, my least favorite character in the game. I hate her mines. I really don't like the mine mechanic with her, but whatever. It is what it is. Psylocke. Psylocke's amazing. I don't think she's meta. You always see, like, really good players using Psylocke for good reason. She has great DPS, she has great movement, she can go invisible, which speeds her up for a few seconds, and her ultimate is amazing if you don't have healers healing your enemies. Because when she's bouncing between 3 or 4 people, they have time to heal them all up, and your ultimate can just do nothing. But I still think she's amazing. She's not quite meta, but I think she's in a great place right here. Punisher. Punisher's really good. I'm going to say he's amazing, but I don't think he's very fun to play. You know, like, I mean, you're playing a game with superheroes, and you're going to play the Call of Duty character. I still think he's really good, though. Like, I mean, I like playing Punisher every once in a while. Because, I mean, he has hit scan, he's great for taking out flying characters, you know, your Iron Man, probably Human Torch now, and Storm. But, I mean, I'm just not the biggest fan of playing him. He seems a little too mindless to me. There is some cool tech you can do with him, though. Like, with his zip lines, you can jump off right before the end and get some real distance. He's a great character. I like him, but I just don't think he's too great. Rocket makes me sad to do this. I think Rocket's just decent. Rocket needs something. His ultimate isn't very good. It just buffs your damage for like 3 seconds, and then it just disappears. The best thing about Rocket is he can just stay alive for so long. He's like Jeff. He's a great distraction. But he doesn't have great damage. His healing is really weird. Like, you can be kind of mindless with it and just kind of sit at the back of the map and go, doot, doot, doot. And then it just heals by your teammates as it passes through them, and they can just bounce across the walls and stuff. He's decent. I just don't think he's a very good character. I wish he was, because I love Rocket, but right now he's just not in the best place. Scarlet Witch got a bit of a buff. She was a bad, dookie garbage before, and now I'm going to say she's decent. They made it so she gets bonus health when she's popping her ultimate. And that's it. She's a really bad character. You know what? No, she's still bad. 100 health isn't going to do anything when Penny locks you up while you're doing your ultimate. She's still dog shit. She needs a complete rework, I think. She really does. Yeah, she's still bad. She doesn't do enough damage. The only good thing in her kit is being able to go invisible and fly around. That's great maneuverability, but she's still just a bad character. I do like her, though. I just wish she was better. Spider-Man! Spider-Man is great. Spider-Man is a really hard character to get good with, but once you do, he's really fun. He's got such good maneuverability, and being able to do his ultimate in front of like a full team, you can wipe a team and lock them in place for your teammates. That's great. He has great combos. I didn't mention this earlier. He and Penny got a buff with Venom. They made it so their team up doesn't give them bonus health anymore. It makes them invincible. So Spider-Man's got lowered from 4 seconds to just 1 second of use. And it's not like damage over time. It's just 1 hit of damage, and then he's invincible in there. And Penny's got changed to 2 seconds, and she's invincible in there as well. And I think that's a great change, because Spider-Man, especially when he was doing that Venom team-up, was so vulnerable it was almost just a waste to use it. But I do think he's a great character. Squirrel Girl! Squirrel Girl's so annoying. I'm gonna say she is... I'm gonna say she's great. I don't think she's quite up here with amazing. She's basically Junkrat, you know? She has her acorns she launches that are basically grenades, you know? And she does decent damage. Her ultimate is really annoying, but you can kill it quickly with her Squirrel Stampede. She has a great lockdown mechanic with her acorn where she can lock you in place. Yeah, and you have that maneuverability with a bounce. She's a decent character. I don't think she's anything too special, but she's still really good. Star-Lord. Star-Lord's iffy, because it really depends on who's playing him. But I think he's probably going to go into amazing. They did buff his rocket boots, so they last longer now. So that's great. Yeah, I think he's a really good character. He's very solid. He's basically, you know, kind of like Tracer. He does his dodge to reload, where you're basically invincible for half a second. He's a really good character. I like him. And his ultimate is pretty powerful if you don't have healers healing the enemy with his auto lock on. And flying around, I like him quite a bit. I use him quite a bit. Storm was up here. Now she's going to go down to amazing. She got nerfed. They nerfed her damage per second. But she now has that team up with Human Torch that can make a fire tornado when she uses her ultimate, which I think is great. Yeah. She's just a really decent character. She's mostly a buffer. They did nerf how much damage she gives to herself when she uses her self Thunderstorm. But they did buff their teammates. I think it went from 12% to 10% for her and 8% to 10% for teammates. So now they're all in an equal playing ground, if I'm remembering correctly. Let me know. Thor. I'm gonna say Thor's amazing too. I don't think he's quite meta. Actually, you know what? For how I play Thor, I think he's meta. I do. I think everything in his kit is great. He's got great maneuverability with his hammer. His square attack is so good. Where there's floating and he can fire the lightning at enemies from far away. Being able to spin the hammer and fly up is great. And his ultimate, if it's used correctly, like if you pair his ultimate with Groot, or even her sometimes, where they're just kind of locked in place and stuck, his ultimate can wipe a team. I've only seen it once or twice, but his ultimate is great. Flying up in the air and dealing damage and then slamming down. I think he's probably... Out of these three tanks, he's the worst, but I still think he's meta. Venom is... I don't think he's as bad as Cap. I'm going to say Venom is great. He did get a bit of a buff this patch. They made it so his slam into the ground will bring enemies towards you instead of launching them away, so you can kind of line them up. I think that's good. They made it so his ultimate is faster to charge. He needs something else, but he's still a really good tank. Like, if you just want to be a character that just stands there and tanks damage and doesn't really deal much, he's a really good character. He's just not the best, sadly. Winter Soldier, amazing, really skill dependent with this guy. I love Winter Soldier, but if you have a good healer that can heal you while you're doing your ultimate, you already know you can wipe the team twice over. But that's really healer dependent, and he only has 3 shots to his mag, and you have to be very accurate. It's not hit scan, but when you have a good Winter Soldier, you're set. He's a really, really good character. Wolverine, I'm going to put in great. I think he's a really good character. I like him a lot. He's great for dealing with tanks. With his jump attack, you can take them away from the battle and just slice them up. Being able to reduce damage taken is so good for a melee character. And he has a decent amount of health, too. And he has good maneuverability with his quick slash that can take him to new enemies. And he doesn't have bad range either. His claws, they have farther reach than most melee characters. I think he's about the length of Magic with her sword. Mr. Fantastic. He got a bit of a buff. They buffed his ultimate, I think. So it's not so much of a joke. I think he's going to fit into great. I don't think he's up here. I think he's a decent character, but he's still not quite as good. He's more of a tank than a duelist. Let's be fair. He's more of a tank character. I don't know why they made him a duelist, but he's pretty fun to play. I mean, he's goofy. He has his stretchy arms, you know. He can grow in size to be a big tank. But I just don't think he's the best character. I don't think he's great. Well, I do think he's great, but I don't think he's amazing. Invisible Woman, meta. Easy. Easiest tier of my life. She's so good. They nerfed her ultimate just like they did Luna's. They made it harder to charge up and get. But, I mean, it doesn't really matter. She's so good. She can make your whole team vanish for 8 seconds, I believe, and just constant healing. This combo right here with these three, Cloak and Dagger, Invisible Woman, and Luna Snow, if you have all three ults, it's over. That's like 30 seconds-ish of no damage to enemies if you have all three ults. It's so insane. But she's still amazing. I mean, meta. Easily meta. Don't need to be paired up with the other two healers to be great. She does great healing. Her shield is good. She's just such a good character. Only 2 characters in the bad portion, so that's not bad. I do wish these girls would get something better. I think Black Widow needs a close range option that's not as bad as her batons. I think she needs to have, like, submachine guns for close range. I think that would be good for her. But her batons just don't do the job right now. And Scarlet, I don't know how to fix Scarlet. She just needs more damage, to be honest. It's really that simple. She just doesn't do enough. Anyway, this is the list. I hope you guys like it. I hope I'm not too far off what you guys think of the Marvel Rivals 1.5 tier list. And thank you guys very much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. And I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.